There are some crazy things that have been said about Africa over the years, and we've all heard it. Some crazy, outrageous, some funny because it's just ridiculous, and some just downright false narrative. And I think it's important to debunk the myth, the lies, the false narratives, because unfortunately, some of us Africans believe those myths, and it's impacting us from connecting with our own brothers and sisters, especially when it comes to movement within Africa. Some people, when they dream of their honeymoon, they're thinking Dubai, they're thinking the Maldives, they're thinking Greece. When we have in our own continent Mombasa, Zanzibar, Madagascar, Seychelles, Mozambique, all these countries are one of the most beautiful places for honeymoon destination. But unfortunately, because of the misconception and the false narrative we've heard for so long, we dream about traveling outside. We dream about supporting other economies, their tourism, instead of traveling within the continent and contributing to our brothers and sisters' economies, while also getting the best experience within the continent of Africa. But you know what makes me even more sad is the fact that when you travel to Africa, if you've ever gotten to a plane from any Western country and you're getting into that plane, what you see is unbelievable. Majority of the passengers in that plane and at the airport are people that are not Africans traveling to Africa. But guess who is not traveling within Africa? Africans. Of course, there are other reasons why Africans don't travel within Africa, which we will discuss in this video. You know, things like policy and visa requirements. And to be honest, quite frankly, it's just our governments make it very hard for us to move from point A to point B, even those that are interested to travel within Africa. But that we will discuss later on in this video. I want to focus on debunking the myth about Africa. The first myth I want us to debunk is, quote, Africans don't travel. My brothers and sisters, we have been lied to. That is not true. We travel. Africans actually love to travel and explore the world just like everybody else. From safaris in Kenya and Tanzania to exploring the pyramids in Egypt to enjoying and marveling at the historic rock churches in Ethiopia, African travelers are adventurous at heart. Clearly, Africans love to travel. And data shows us that Africans traveling within Africa is growing significantly, driven by the growing middle class. And also, I want to mention the YouTubers, content creators, TikTokers, Instagrammers, the content creators that are showcasing Africa. Well done, you. Because of the growing knowledge of what's in Namibia, what's in Botswana, what's in Egypt, what's in Morocco, what's in Ethiopia, what's in Kenya, what is in Ghana, Nigeria, is being brought to light because of our content creators and travelers, and we love to see it. We want to say thank you, because a lot of Africans, including me, are understanding that Africa have a lot to offer, and we want to travel within Africa and see Africa first before even exploring the world, because we have so much to explore within the continent of Africa. Tourism in Africa by Africans is growing significantly, driven by a growing middle class, and with good reason. Africa has rich cultural heritage and diverse landscapes that present a wide range of tourism opportunities for African travelers. And we need to take this to another level. One, we need to enhance infrastructure like accommodation, flights, roads. And number two, remove visa for fellow Africans. As of now in 2025, only 5 African countries allow visa-free entry to their countries for other African passengers into their country. That is crazy, fam. From 55 countries, only 5 countries allow that to happen? Not good, right? And thirdly, market our beauty and diversity within Africa. Marketing is so important, fam. Why do you think a lot of Africans, the younger generation, even my generation, grew up thinking America is the dream country. It's because of their marketing, through their movies, music. They push that through their mainstream media. They push that on us, and we grew up thinking that's heaven on earth, and we aspire to go there, travel there, not knowing that there are other sides to that country because they don't show it to us. That is marketing. How are Africans marketing their own countries? The whole continent, how are we really doing that? We need to improve on our marketing skills. We have the resources, we have the beauty, we have the people. What we need now is to put a spotlight on that beauty and diversity and landscape. And so if you're watching this and you can book a trip, where will it be? Where will your next African country adventure will be? Let me know down below. I would love to hear it. The second myth is wildlife is everywhere. That's true. Growing up, I had to go to school, navigate through a field of hungry lions, and then get to the school bus, which was a giraffe. And, I go to school. Okay, just kidding. Of course, that's not true. This is a myth. Wildlife are mostly found in game parks and wildlife reserves. Many Africans go their entire lives without seeing some of these amazing animals that are in Africa. Yes, on occasion, an animal or two might escape the game park and make its way through the streets of, let's say Nairobi City, just like we've seen in other parts of the world, but that's not the norm. So if you want to see some amazing wildlife like elephants, rhinos, cheetahs, giraffes, there are some amazing game parks across the continent. The third myth I want us to debunk is, quote, once you've seen one country in Africa, you've seen them all, end quote. Nothing can be more untrue. Africa is one of the most diverse continents. Over 1 billion people live in Africa. 55 countries, each with an average of 20 languages being spoken in that country. For example, my own country, Ethiopia, has over 80 languages. That is a lot of diversity even within a country in Africa. Some of the examples we can talk about is food. For all of you foodies watching this channel, if you want to eat delicious jollof rice, you can go to Nigeria or Ghana or Senegal. Eat nyama choma meat in Kenya, couscous in Morocco, and chambo fish in Malawi. Or if you're feeling more adventurous, try mopane worms in Botswana or kitfo in Ethiopia. Also, don't forget fried grasshoppers in Uganda. That's just scratching the surface. There are so many alternatives and choices you will have traveling across the continent of Africa. Secondly, culture. You could attend the Zulu Reed dance in South Africa, where Zulu girls are taught about good morals and ethics and principles. You can also attend the Segu Festival on the Niger River in Mali. You can sample art, music, food, and so much more. You can also go to Cape Town Jazz Festival for the jazz lovers, or catch a traditional wrestling match in Senegal. Doesn't that sound nice and diverse? It doesn't sound like it's the same experience to me. And also for my adrenaline junkies, you can go shark cage diving in South Africa. You can go gorilla trekking in Rwanda, dune bashing in Namibia, swim on the edge of Victoria Falls, or Masai Mara hot air balloon in Kenya. That is still in my bucket list, and one day, hopefully, I get to do it as well. These are just a few of the many examples of why we should visit other African countries and experience what our brothers and sisters have to offer. It seems like a lot, in my opinion. We have so many budget brackets, so many alternatives within the continent of Africa, and that is why I'm here. So let's talk about the last myth. But it's not the least, because this is the most prominent myth about Africa. Quote, it's all poverty, war, and disease, end quote. Now, this is just plain made up. A big part of it is due to stories told by mainstream media and carried out in movies, and some of the charities that were created with good intention, but then again, they went on for far too long. Negative stereotypes have played a big part in discouraging people from wanting to visit African countries. They will also mention political stability. African countries are not politically stable. But look at countries like Mauritius, Botswana, Cape Verde, Namibia, and Ghana. They have the most stable political environment. And as for poverty, there are so many African economies that are thriving right now, but the narrative stays the same. They don't show you the growth. They don't show you the change. They are just stuck in the past where we were in the past. And of course, there are instabilities and there are people that are struggling within the continent of Africa. But that's not the full picture. They don't show you about their poverty and homelessness and issues with guns in their own countries. They focus on positive stories, right? If they have to mention something about their country, it's like sprinkled in there and then they move forward. But when it comes to the African narrative, majority of the coverage is the negative and the positive is just sprinkled in there. So that's why we're saying no to the fake narratives, because if you're going to present a story, give the full picture. And the last one being disease. We have systems to detect, treat, and follow up with patients' case in Africa, from traditional to modern. But don't take my word for it. Look at some of the thriving economies and beautiful countries in Africa. The Africa they don't show you. And I think it's our responsibility as Africans to show each other what we were able to accomplish. And we also have to be welcoming towards our brothers and sisters. Let's travel within Africa. Free movement in Africa is what we're saying and we're asking for. Our policymakers and governments, please take note. We want to travel within Africa, so allow us. Let us explore our own continent. Anyways, fam, let me know down below what your thoughts are about this video. I am Wongel Zelalem. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.